What's up, Joe? Long time no see.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Nice. Give everybody a minute to show up. We might be heading through your area in October for fall break. We might be doing a little road trip kind of in the south, hitting a few spots. And that one's on the proposed list for the space stuff over there. So I may have to hit you up to figure out what's the must see if you're there just for a day.
Yeah, definitely let me know. If you're going to do the museum, I'm going
Mhm.
to go with you and give you a proper tour
Nice. Okay.
because I know everything about that place and I do a very good job of it. But yeah, let me know for sure.
Nice. Okay. Will do. Yeah, it's on our likely list, but it's slightly out of the way depending on some other attractions that we're gonna go see. But I think it's pretty close
Mm,
because I think we're gonna go do like Dollywood or something on that side. My sister lives in East Tennessee, and then so on our way back, I think we can hit that area.
nice, nice.
Well, no one else is here, so I guess we should just get to it. Even though
Yeah,
we've already
let's
started
do it because I
doing,
got a question for
yeah,
you that I wanted to hit.
sure.
So,
So there's nothing in Mead Stewart. I did put this DNS label compatible process types from Josh Lewis back into, or I put it in ready for review. He hasn't come back to talk about it, but Ed Morley brought it back up as something that we should maybe do, and I think I agree. It is a breaking change, so I think I would ask everyone to read this RFC, but it's just you, so I'm gonna ask you to read this RFC and see whether you think it's a good idea or not, and get some get some thoughts on that.
will do.
Um, okay. Uh, and let's see. And there's nothing in voting and TOC update.
Big one.
If, big one. I saw
Open for
that. You,
public comment.
I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah. I forget where it is, but it's somewhere. Oh, you probably already linked it.
Yeah, I'll drop a link to it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I should comment or not. Being like a maintainer, be like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
I know
thing
me
I
either, but it
do.
seems like
I was,
everybody is.
I
Yeah.
was like, should I be like, yeah, the thing that I work on? But it's fine.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of support in there, so I think it's fine.
Nice.
So
And
yeah, that'll
then let
close July 14th. So
okay.
okay, yeah, this is partially a question for you. I don't know if you saw the RFC.
I have not
Um,
actually.
this is, I mean, I'll be completely transparent. I created, I think, three or four different agents representing different perspectives on this and had them write the
Yep.
RFC, and it was fantastic. Like there was like the detractor, there was like the junior engineer who doesn't, know what spec
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean, I was really pleased with the results. I think the open question, aside from the details of the proposal, is I've scoped this to life cycle because I wanted to start small, but maybe the like definitely we should do that in terms of the code, but like maybe the RFC should cut across the project, which I think is mainly. the life cycle and pack. I don't know if image util. I don't think image util uses spec, right?
Correct. I think it just uses
Yeah.
normal go test.
So I guess that question of like how should I scope this? I thought about doing it small, but then I also don't want to do like a second RFC. So
Yeah.
it's easy
Yeah,
enough for me to reframe it. Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this. I've actually used this as a agent tester several times just to kind of like see if it gets stuck and stuff because it is complicated enough and there's enough moving parts that like they do get caught sometimes. But I think we're to the point where we could, if we put the effort in, we could get this, translated by a bunch of, agents.
Yeah, I already started like the way this is broken down into phases, and I have like the PR for phase one and was like playing around with phase two. So,
Nice.
but yeah,
That's
yeah, I think
cool.
that was the big open question I had was about should we make it more general?
I mean, yeah, my inclination is like, no, start small, but then I'm also like, do we really want to repeat this whole RFC process for each repo? That seems silly. So
I mean, I'm
I
not
don't
even
know.
sure this has to be an RFC, right? To be fair, this is an implementation detail, has nothing to do with the
That's
spec
true.
or the community. It's because we've talked about doing this
It,
on Lifecycle without even bringing it to the RFC floor because we're like, I think it would just improve maintainership and stuff, and it's really up to the maintainers of each project. So I don't think it has to go through RFC, but I don't mind it being here. It seems fine.
I mean, that being said, like I think you could probably make the same claim about rewriting life cycle in a different language. To some degree, that's an implementation detail.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that as long as it's
eh,
spec. I don't think it really.
yeah,
It
I
can
guess
be
But I
the
think
changed.
you should, right?
the
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say the dissenting view for both of those is that it's really about long-term maintainability of the project as a whole. And I think that's where the language choice and the framework choice do factor in, much less so for the testing framework. And I think that's why it is warranted.
well, I will say the Rust thing is not about maintainability of the thing and more of like even though there are ramifications of that, it actually is like worse for Jesse probably for it to be written in another
Oh yeah,
language.
well
But it really is about the user experience of patching, right?
yeah. No, I wasn't talking about the motivation. I was just talking about the consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it though. You've got my vote of confidence. Let's do it. Anything to
So
make it easier to read and everything. I do think that I'll probably want to, we'll want to make sure that these. It's probably not worth putting in the RFC, but like I think test output is really hard to read today. Like on like
mhm.
which tests are failing, how they're failing, and this is not a consequence of this framework necessarily. It's just kind of like the Go testing harness is kind of bad when you have like a bunch of like just a ton of tests, and so I think as we do this, it would be nice to make these GitHub Actions use some of the like community stuff to output like just the failures, and you don't have to go digging because that's always hard for people to tell like why it's actually failed. Uh, like drive by commenters and stuff.
They're coming out of the some of the graduation stuff. One of the things that was identified, and this is not necessarily in scope of your RFC here, Joe, but it is an interesting exercise to think about because we are kind of going through this stuff. And this applies just to life cycle, I think, or most of the life cycle, is that we don't really have spec conformance tests. It's basically like bro, go use
Mhm.
life cycle to test to see if you were to do the thing. And it made me even think about like I think this intersects maybe even a little more heavily with the launcher rewrite of, like the launcher rewrite, especially in the age of AI, would have been way easier to do if you had conformance tests, right? Like you could literally point the
Mhm.
agent and be like, please run the thing I built against the conformance tests to make sure they're correct. And um, I wonder if there's an exercise here that could come out of this that isn't part of this RFC that like if you're going to go in and do this work, like can we extract a set of those things? Because that essentially is like the life cycle tests. Like outside of the unit tests, like I think the acceptance and other things, like can we
Yeah, those are
extract
conformance
some
tests,
stuff using tokens here,
basically.
but not like a thing actually like gating or whatever if you're RFC, but if like you're ready in here, right? Like doing this stuff, like I wonder if it makes sense.
If, like, what are you saying? If it makes sense to expand the scope of this RFC to
No, no,
spec
no, no.
testing?
Just like as you're doing this work because of this RFC, you're already like going through and
Oh,
like visiting all the tests and things, and it's just like, does it make sense to like extract out in a conformance test suite?
I don't know, man. This is a big lift. Like maybe baby steps, phase eight.
Phase 8. Do we really have that many phases in here?
No, no.
Okay. I was like, man, it's already a lot of phases. I mean, 4 is already a lot of phases.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. And I started, I have a draft PR for phase one and I'm starting on phase two. And it's like, this kind of makes sense. So,
That's awesome, though. Yeah, I love it. I'll read it and comment on it if there's anything.
But it is like one of the things we're gonna have to report on 6 months after we get graduation is what we're doing with that conformance
yeah, no, I
stuff.
definitely want to move on the spec testing. Let's have a breakout conversation on that, Terrence. Maybe just like tell me what you're thinking and I'll see if I can start something.
I mean,
Before we, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, from what I saw from poking at the launcher stuff with life cycles, we basically have a set of acceptance and other tests. Some of them might be actually intermingling a little bit with the unit tests, but my thought was basically like we should extract that into the conformance testing harness there. It's like taking those acceptance tests. And again, like I don't think it actually is really related to your RFC besides like you're literally going and touching all the tests as part of this, right? And so it's not like a blocking or any other comment kind of relate to that. It's a thing we could also do kind of after the fact, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like this is a prerequisite to that anyways. Like we don't want to lift the Stephenware out of here and into the framework, the harness or whatever.
well, I almost feel like yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's in Go or whatever, but it's just like whatever the tests are, you basically I think would want to pass an executable that you'd run it against or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, that's the main thing is you're basically talking about turning acceptance test into conformance test, giving it a binary to run
Yeah,
to
exactly.
act on it instead of basically running in the library and executing the methods, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And so lifting those acceptance tests out of like, have using SDKs instead of using outside in testing or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that feels like another phase and maybe a duplicative phase. Like we keep the acceptance test because that's what we have now, but then we can use
yeah,
those as an extraction piece to conformance test. Because
yeah,
I've wanted that as well for like testing old versions and new versions. Because the way we do acceptance test is quite heavy and it's also um, kind of weird because you're doing it all in like one big pass, right? In
yeah,
one big
yeah,
binary, and it would be nice to be able to like run the same binary with the different settings or different binaries for different ones because that would make us keeping up to date with like 2 release branches or something much easier to
yeah.
understand. Anyway, before we jump on to the next item, I wanted to just backtrack a little bit and ask Terrence to read the DNS label compatible process types. I put it into review. This is Josh's old one. He has not come back to revive this, but Ed has brought up whether we should do this, and so I think it would be worth reviewing this and throwing your thoughts at it.
Okay. Um, is that the like you can use a com dot whatever process type?
Uh, this is this is making sure that we start invalidating like underscores, for instance, for process types. Making a breaking change so that all process types would be DNS compatible by default going forward. So obviously it's like a multi-phase approach. Like you're gonna have to start giving warnings of like the process name that you've done is bad, and like we'll have to have probably opt out so that people who are using lifecycle who don't care about that can set a config var somewhere so that it doesn't. But future forward, uh,
You're gonna make me make changes to the launcher? Come on, bro.
yep. Well, I guess the launcher won't care. Uh,
Well, the launcher does, right? Because it doesn't have to invalidate a thing
Well,
if
it's all
you're.
about the build. The build would fail with the wrong process types, right? Like you wouldn't get that far. Like the launcher launches, it doesn't have to be too strict
It's
about
not
the
enforced at
process.
runtime, just at
Yeah,
build
it's not
time.
enforced at runtime. Yeah, just build time. Yeah, at least anyway, that's the kind of stuff we need to tease out. Like, does this need to be enforced at different levels? Because I think the main thing is that this metadata used from these processes would, inform systems like Kubernetes that you might have dynamic stuff built off of the processes, and if you're trying to use them as like a prefix in your TLS domains or whatever, it's not going to work.
Gotcha. And I think when we asked the ecosystem when Sarsi came up was that no one really cared.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been too long. I've already forgotten. Yeah, this next one, I don't know who added it, but the error warnings from the new CI/CD stuff. It's worth chatting about. I don't have access, is what I know. I cannot see them for some reason, even though I'm a maintainer in the list that someone has linked me. I am unable to see life cycles violations or whatever. In case
What are
anyone knows
the,
anything
I
about
guess,
this.
actions we just need to resolve stuff here?
Yeah, I haven't looked really closely at them. I just set up the
Yeah.
repos and then it's like, oh, okay. And it looks like what we need to do is like allow list some of these things because my quick glance was like, oh, it's flagging things that like dependencies that we need. So I haven't looked at all into what the process is or what we're supposed to do. I mainly put this here because like I saw it on the PR to life cycle and I wasn't sure if like it's blocking us or like how
Yeah,
how
we
soon
don't
do we need.
yeah, we don't have it blocking like our CI/CD, but that was my question too. Do we need it to be blocking? And by what date for like some sort of, CNCF,
There's
commitment?
no
I have no idea.
Yeah,
CNCF mandate here, but it's like a thing I think they want. I mean, it's a good practice in general, right? To make sure
yeah.
whatever our policies are that they are in compliance. And then if there is something that catches us off guard in the future, that we see that. I think we should probably just put like a line in the sand of like how long we want to take to get into conformance. And then I think once we're there, we then flip the switch, I assume.
Okay. By line in the sand, you mean a date?
Yeah, just like pick a time of just like, okay, it's gonna take us a month, 2 months, like whatever it is, right? Like
Okay.
to get to like either allow list, whatever it is, like put the policy in place and then we can have
Okay.
it be blocking, I think. I think that's probably
Yeah.
the right path.
Yeah. I'll take care of that. Main thing I wanted to check was that it wasn't like didn't look like it was blocking the
Actually, yeah.
PRs, but I wasn't sure if there was actually like some whoops, that's a problem now.
No, I think we have to like put it in the GitHub check somewhere, I assume.
Yeah.
If you want my help, I will need help figuring out why I'm not marked as a maintainer for life
Oh
cycles.
yeah, I started to look at that, and then didn't see anything, so I'll check again.
Yeah, yeah, and if not, that's fine. And right now things
Does
are
it
looking
say
good.
that you're logged out? Does that mean you're logged out now again?
I have been logged in, and it gives me the same view, but I
I feel
assume
like
it
the
saves
FASA
differently.
thing does not like me.
I don't remember how I
Like
got
I get the
added.
same experience Jesse does where I don't know how to get access to the thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what is? Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with life cycle.
I'll go look back through my notes because I forget who, someone from CNCF had given me instructions for setting it up.
Yeah, see, yeah, it thinks
The
I'm
other thing
logged
is
out, but I'm
actually
also logged in. It's very confusing.
ask in maintainer circle channel and Slack. There's a lot of people talking about the same kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. That's it for the agenda. Anything else?
I the only thing I mostly had was just the TOC PR, but I assume Joe already covered it.
Yep. Yeah, he put the public comment link here for people who want to uh, comment, good or bad, hopefully good, about our graduation.
Yep. Um,
Oh, Josh Lewis giving me
yeah.
stuff.
So I think it's like 2 weeks. On that PR, can you ask Josh to take the RFC back? I see you're here.
Uh,
Can you? Yeah, I think it's
I
like
think
two
that is
weeks,
the
and
Apex where he's at now.
yeah, Mauricio was saying that they were looking at using it to do a bunch of AI stuff. So
That's cool.
I was asking him to open source it. Um, got to figure that out over there. But um, Joe, have you reviewed the steering committee RFC?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, no. I was thinking the PR. No, no, I was thinking something else. I don't think so. Oh yeah. No, I haven't looked at this.
Uh, that has that is a thing we per the graduation
Yep.
thing we need to give an update on in 6 months. So I think you are the main person who probably needs to review it since Samurai approved.
Yep. I'll do that today.
I have a general
Go
build
ahead.
back question, if I can ask.
Sure.
Um, and this is just to like extend my understanding of it as well. Recently we had discussion with like one of our clients, and they were asking about if um Cube Armor's security policies for Golang, for example, if it can be run as a build pack, or does it make sense to run those policies as a build pack against the image of the code?
I don't know. I'm not familiar. What tool were you saying?
Cube Armor.
Hmm. I see. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the tool. I mean, I know that maybe Joe, this is something you can answer. It's kind of more similar to the stuff that I think some of your teams deal with like infrastructure, build pack kind of related
Well,
uh,
it's like code quality stuff,
Terraform
right?
stuff.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, but it's
Go.
more CI sort of like bits and bobs, isn't it? To kind of like scan existing images and repos and stuff.
Yeah.
I see. Can you? I didn't. I wasn't really following. Can you state what you're asking again?
So so they have like Cube Armor security policies for Golang. They were asking if those policies can be run as a build pack during like the whole like build process.
I see. So like, it is something that needs to run like before compilation because
Yeah.
it's I okay yeah. Um, I seems totally reasonable. We do a lot of things like that. I mean, the sort of extreme is like I think they were talking about like running tests in the build pack, which can be challenging. But the static analysis stuff, um, you know, it doesn't have like the external dependencies or some of the weird like environmental setup stuff. So it seems um, it seems like it would be fine. We do this with like basically what is effectively like static analysis build packs for other things like Terraform and some stuff like that, where we're like applying policies to check for various patterns and fail to build if we see those. Um, so yeah, it, I would say it does not seem like an anti-pattern.
Okay. Yeah, I can always just create an example of this, and if you guys want, we can look at it in one of our next calls.
Yeah, I think the thing that like we want, and we ended up doing, we kind of went outside of the build pack API to do this, is to run those things in parallel. So
Hmm.
we actually have one build pack that we call like our validation build pack, and
Hmm.
it's written in Python, and we just have like Python classes that represent the different validations, and they run in parallel. And so I think that's sort of the drawback is because build packs are just this sequential thing, you end up just having to take the bullet and add the extra overhead and time. But I don't know if this is something that takes seconds or minutes or whatever.
Yeah, no, I haven't tried it out either. It was just brought up to us, and it felt like it felt natural because like as a build pack, you can also do like vulnerability scanning and like do patches on the fly. Um, so it just felt that it can be used as a build pack. But I just wanted to ask here and see if architecturally if it makes sense and if you guys had any concerns.
I think it really is up to the platform if it makes sense or not. I think like build packs as a spec component is really like just a way to execute code in a structured way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like we've had people who, for instance, literally like run CI tests as part of their build pack run.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think, not a thing a lot of platforms necessarily do, but if it makes sense for your platform to do it that way, then I think you can make it fit, right? And so, the parallel thing I think Joe talks about, it's like if you take a GitHub action, I think build pack lifecycle runs are a much smaller kind of primitive of a thing. It's not trying to
Mm-hmm.
be an entire CI/CD system. So I think for this particular thing, it probably depends on if you need it to. I think you can do it in parallel if you just need like the input source code or whatever as the
Mm-hmm.
kind of starting point. But if you need like the
Mm-hmm.
build output artifact of that Go build, then it probably needs to be
Mm-hmm.
done as a sequential thing inside the existing like pipeline.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just like up to the platform of what makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Yeah, I'm still slowly trucking along on going through all the test failures, Jesse, on the thing PRU open.
Hmm.
I think there was one test that I found that failed, but I don't think it's actually a problem.
Okay,
Uh,
fair enough.
but I think it's because of how it expects, like it was a non-acceptance test. It was like a thing that basically expected uh the like variable to be mutated and it wasn't being mutated. And so there was a test that fails. So I don't know if all the things you extracted were actually acceptance tests or not. Um, but actually maybe that those set of tests is a good starting point for uh like launcher conformance tests.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. It would be, yeah, it would be good to. That's yeah, you use them already kind of in that way, right? Through pack and all the acceptance tests, but yeah, it'd be good to turn those into an actual like launcher conformance test harness instead of it having to be through so many indirect layers.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like maybe the best place to start for the conformance testing stuff is since we're doing already this exercise with the rewrite, like ideally the set of conformance tests we want to make sure both the Rust and Go implementations are compatible, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
Um, the last thing that came up for the CNCF spec due diligence was security guidance on implement what using the spec.
Say
And
more.
so that's potentially a thing we might need to
What does that
tackle in the
mean?
next 6 months as well.
Yeah. Where was that written down? remember seeing
in
that.
it's in the due diligence doc under like recommendations,
Yeah.
non-blocking like recommendation
Yeah. Yeah.
things.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like those were the two things was the conformance stuff and the um spec thing. I mean, for the conformance thing, we can just say, bro, double check against life cycle, but that feels I think like kind of a cop out, but anyways,
All right, I need to bounce for some summer dad ops, but I will catch you all next week.
cool.
Yep. I think we're done, and I'm gonna go read the steering committee RFC.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
So yeah.